You won't believe this, but I pretended to get fired just to see who in my office would actually celebrate. It sounds unhinged, I know, but it grew out of months of small cuts. I'd walk into a room and watch conversations freeze mid-sentence, like someone had hit a mute button just for me. Jokes stopped. Tabs clicked. Eyes fell to keyboards. When I pitched ideas in sprint planning, I'd catch the tight little smile from Mike, the dramatic sigh from Jenna, the way our Scrum Master said interesting in that tone that means, let's never do that. I told myself to toughen up. I'm not a perfect employee, but I carry weight. Late nights, ugly bugs, hand-holding clients who send 2 a.m. emails. I brought cupcakes for birthdays, shared templates, documented the messy parts nobody wanted to touch. Still, I felt like furniture present, useful, invisible. Then the quarterly all-hands happened. Finance said the L-word layoff softly, like they were soothing a nervous dog. Nothing decided, they said, which only means one thing in corporate. Slack went radioactive, rumor boards lit up. People started predicting who'd be optimized. That night, while doom-scrolling, a wicked idea unfurled. What if I staged my own firing and watched the mask slip? If I was wrong, fine, I'd apologize and move on. If I was right, I'd finally stop gaslighting myself. I told my closest work friend, Liv. She laughed, then covered her mouth. You're serious? I nodded. We schemed like teenagers, timing, witness angles, what I'd say as I left HR. Liv's job was to look shocked but not theatrical, to seat exactly 2 people with the line that would spread itself. It felt petty and a little deranged. It also felt like the only way to stop doubting my own eyes. 2 days later, HR pinged me about a routine compliance form. Perfect stage. Liv glanced up from her monitor and tapped her watch like a director calling action. Inside HR, it was boring checkboxes and a stale bowl of mints, but when I stepped back into the hallway, I let my face drain. I typed nothing on my phone and whispered just loud enough for nearby desks. I can't believe they did it. I'm done here. The sentence wasn't even finished before Slack lit up like a fireworks stand. From the kitchen came a hiss. Wait, was that OP? By lunch, the rumor had a spine and teeth. People approached in pairs with that concerned actor tone. Are you okay? Their eyes said confetti. One guy, Tyler, leaned back and murmured, guess karma's real, as if I'd wronged him by fixing his code review comments last month. In the corridor, I watched a quiet high-five snap and vanish when I turned my head. My teammate Ben, whose broken tests I'd stayed late to stabilize, actually fist-pumped like a fan at a home run. I felt the air go thin. Maybe this wasn't in my head. Maybe the room had been cold all along, and I was only now seeing the frost. Liv pinged, you okay? I lied. Yep, let it run. I wanted to know fully who I was to these people. The afternoon turned into a nature documentary where kindness hid and carrion birds swooped. My desk neighbor Priya, who regularly DM'd me PUS help pivot table, muttered to another analyst, finally, maybe they'll hire someone competent. My ears rang. Across the aisle, someone said, saw it coming, like it was weather. But then the counter notes, my manager Sarah closed her door and whispered, if this is true, I will fight for you. Seriously, a designer slipped me her brother's email and offered a referral. The duality messed with my head. In stand-up, people avoided eye contact, then messaged me hearts afterward. Liv tried to keep the script on rails. One more beat, then rap. I promised, but curiosity had come unmoored. If this much bile surfaced in 4 hours, what would a second day expose? At 4:50, I heard laughter from the break room, the relieved, brittle kind that belongs to popped champagne. When I walked in, the laughter turned into weather reports. No one made room at the table. I filled my water bottle and stared at the bubbles until they stopped rising. I told myself, tomorrow decides whether I'm paranoid or precise. Morning 2, I committed to the bit. I wore the gray sweater reserved for bad news days, packed a cardboard box with random desk fossils, dead Sharpies, a stress cow, the mug that says, ship happens, and waited until lunch, the hour of maximum audience. Then I lifted the box and walked. The floor hushed, like the building itself was holding breath. On screen in my mind was the scene I'd feared, 3 coworkers by the fridge clapping. Not sarcastic, not confused applause with relief in it. Ben smirked toward Tyler like they'd won a petty office pool. Someone whispered, finally. A junior asked, should we do a cake? I kept my face neutral, but my fingers dented the cardboard. Every late night, every helpful Loom video, every documented fix turned to confetti in my head. I passed the conference room glass and saw my reflection, small, box-hugging, ridiculous. That night, I lay rigid in the dark, replaying that little burst of clapping on a loop. Liv texted, we end tomorrow, yes? I typed and erased 3 replies. Yes, I wrote, but rage had seeped into the script now. The experiment wasn't neutral anymore. It had teeth. I ended it the next morning. I set the box on my desk like a prop and walked to the center aisle with coffee I didn't want. So, update, I said, steady. Turns out I'm not fired. I staged it. I wanted to see who'd celebrate. The office didn't breathe. Sarah's eyes widened. The clappers went sheet white. Tyler managed. That's messed up. Ben added, kinda toxic, dude. I let the silence grow legs. Celebrating a firing is healthy? I asked. No volunteers. HR arrived within the hour, radiating policy. Unprofessional, disruptive. Eroded trust, they recited. And they weren't wrong. I didn't argue. I asked a single thing. Is openly cheering an employee supposed termination aligned with our values? The room fogged. No answer, just the thrum of the air vent and a note about reflecting on culture. Liv met me at my desk with a granola bar and the kind of hug you give after a minor car crash. My future here felt like a coin dangling over a drain. I realized I no longer cared which way it flipped. I had what I came for. Truth, ugly and undeniable, printed in claps and smirks and sudden righteous lectures about tone. 2 weeks later, I turned in my badge. A competitor had moved fast after a friend-of-friend referral. The offer was better money, saner hours, fewer meetings that could have been an email. On my last day, a quiet procession of kind people appeared, the ones who'd sent links, checked in, offered to be a reference. We hugged. The clappers kept typing with the intensity of people pretending not to notice a fire drill. That told me everything. I boxed the real desk, fed the stress cow to the office free pile, and took one last look at the row of plants under the strip lights. In the elevator, my shoulders dropped 3 inches. My stunt wasn't noble. It was messy and mean and, yes, unprofessional. It was also clarifying. I had spent months re-editing my memories to make other people kinder than they were. The experiment cut the director's commentary. My new team says thank you, asks follow-ups, writes docs. The first time my new manager slacked great catch, I almost cried from relief. Turns out, the difference between paranoia and pattern recognition is often a single, undeniable scene. I finally had mine. So here's the last thing I'll say before I shut this tab on that chapter. AITA for faking my own firing to see who would cheer. Was it petty theater that crossed a line? Or was it a harsh but honest mirror held up to a workplace that preferred shadows? I don't think the applause made me a villain, and I don't think the stunt made me a hero. I think both can be true. I created chaos to reveal chaos, and in the wreckage I found clarity. If you've ever doubted your read on a room, I hope you never need my method. But I hope you get your scene, the one that settles the question you keep arguing with at 3 in the morning. Verdicts below, YTASNH. And if you've got a story about claps you weren't meant to hear, I'm listening. It's your turn now. Share your thoughts in the comments. If this story kept you listening, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.